Yeah, man.
So
It's crazy.
so obviously, I used to go out of town. Whenever I go to town solo, I would always do a podcast. Like, make sure I record it with somebody who lives in that town, a city, something like that. And me and you have talked a few times through DMs. Like, got to get on the pod. And I know the one thing that with you is that you always wanted to show some shoes and stuff like that. So I was like, dang, I'm gonna be in Vegas. I gotta do it. I'm in town for some family stuff, and we got all these things planned on that stuff. I'm like, I gotta make some time for the homie Troll. So this is episode 340. All right.
Oh man.
340. Troll came in. He's a professional content creator. So he had to look at our old cameras. And let me tell you something. People don't understand like how hard it is to set up cameras and do all the editing and stuff like that. Cats don't get it. But I appreciate you coming in here, checking the angles, doing the thing. Like,
especially solo, bro, because I use my kids to help me.
Oh, really?
And it's the biggest headache in the world.
I can't even imagine.
Oh my God, bro.
But we always just heavy discussion always on the internet about UA sneakers and things like that. And I look at you as like the leader of like the UA movement.
I'm a small fish, bro.
And, but see, I look at you as like the one that has the most personality.
Oh yeah.
Best content. Editing is dope. It's funny. Whether I may agree with it or disagree with it, I think that's the best part of content. So, and I don't want to use a real name or nothing. So it's up to you what you want to do. So you can introduce yourself.
Nah, y'all can stay with Troll until you meet me in person.
Because I'm like, if there's anybody who got a lot of people who either don't like him or enemies with, oh my gosh.
And you know what it is? It's because I keep this shit real. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I stick to. I'm not fucking straddling the fence. You know what I mean? When I do my stuff, a lot of people try to, I guess, please everybody, or more importantly, not piss off anybody. You know what I mean? So you watch these people and it's like, sometimes like, what do you believe in? What do you not believe in? What side are you on? If you're not on a side at all, then why are you making this content? Or why are you know what I mean? It's like, you gotta believe something. You know what I mean? There's gotta be either you are, you're either for it, against it, or indifferent. You know what I mean?
Right.
For the UA shoes. Okay. Then the resale market part is another, you're either for it, against it. I don't know how you can be indifferent to it. I don't know, but
what's funny about like the reseller thing, I always tell people is that like obviously it's like it has its good and its bad. Its bad is obviously the greed side of it, the making you feel like if you don't have it, you're less than. But I will say resellers given, at least me personally, and a lot of people the opportunity to get things that they couldn't get. Mm-hmm. Even things from the past. Like I go on eBay and places like that and just type in Nike vintage and I can grab something from 92. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Sucks that I gotta buy something from 92 for about $450, $500, $600.
Give me 1 second. Yeah, man. That's sick.
Also for something that's probably got about 3 months left of wear in it, you know what I mean?
Before it turned to dust, you know what I mean?
Most of them come in dust sometimes. But, like I said, we got the homie Troll in the building. Talk to me about, your sneaker background, like getting into sneakers. Because I think that's like one of the things that like I think is a misconception of you. I think people think, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, I think people think you only wear UA.
Oh, yeah. They think that about most of us that are online showing it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Actually, it's hard to convince somebody, even when you are a mostly authentic person, you get a couple of UAs, everyone thinks, oh, shit, man, you must be doing this, you know?
Right.
No, I definitely, I even had to make a post just to, I didn't have to, but I felt like it. I made a post with a circle of shoes that I had bought, I believe, 2022 of all the retail cops that I had. It was probably like 15, 16 or so. Okay. They were nothing special, nothing high, Panda Dunk Highs and those Wakanda 7s that came out and you know what I mean, like some other like shit like that. You know what I mean? Cardinal 7, stuff that we know we were gonna hit or get. But that's like what we can buy, and why would I then go and get a UA for something that's actually sitting, not the shit that they tell you is sitting when it ain't really sitting. At least not in my size. You know what I mean? But nah, that is a misconception. I have fucking plenty of shoes in sneaker battles I've been in. People say, "Oh, that shit is trash." You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm like, but it's retail. That's what y'all care about, right? Like, so it's like what I do now. I think I missed on a shoe, and now I can't remember what it was. But something made me snap to where I was like, I'm done.
And so, how long ago was this? Like, how long ago was this?
Well, I was already doing YouTube, but I was still, what I would do first was I would get up and go for the shoe first on sneakers or something. And if I missed, then I would get the UA shoe.
Okay.
I think I missed on, I'm trying to remember. It was either the Red Flint. It was a stupid shoe that I shouldn't have missed on.
Right.
But it sold out. It was either the regular Flint or the Red Flint. I think it might have been the regular Flint.
Okay. Probably regular
13.
Flint. Yeah. I couldn't imagine the Red Flint.
For some reason, I missed on the Flint 13, and I was like, that's it. Fuck y'all. Because a lot of the shit I did to kind of, out of respect for the people that I once had respect for.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you shouldn't just straight up fly off the handle and grab a UA and this and that. You should at least try to get the shoe, right? I was like, all right, fuck it, man. You guys are homies. I respect you, and I respect your culture. Whatever you want me, you know what I mean? That's cool. I'll do that. But after I missed on about, it had to have been 2020. That year was nuts for L's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I took 10 L's and it ended with the Flint, and I was like, I'm done. I'm going full throttle. If as soon as I see something pop up on the UA side, I'm grabbing it. I don't give a fuck, and then I'll try on Sneakers app. You know what I mean?
So real quick, define UA. So you know what? Let me go back for a second. So I had told a few people, I was like, oh yeah, I'm about to interview the homie Trollmaggedon. They was like, wait a minute, you talking about the cat that be talking all that junk? And I said, yeah. They was like, now these cats, homies and stuff like that, and cool. And man, I saw what you said about the homie Mike Rich too, man. Get off my boy Mike Rich. Get off my dog Mike Rich, man. But you know what? Let me tell you something. I don't know Mike Rich personally. Just he listens to the podcast and that's the homie or whatnot. But like, hey man, I appreciate you expressing yourself the way you do, regardless if they are my homies or cool cats like that. I don't take things personal. Yeah. Even if you ever said something about us, like that was the whole thing with the beginning of our show. Like we said plenty of things about people when we first started this podcast. A ton of people. That was like.
Was that the main thing? Just slinging
Kais, all these geeks, like cat that live in the Middle East. I can't remember all them little nerd names.
He lives in the Middle East.
He was like this little kid, and he just sneakers but like it was during that block of time when like we first started the podcast, and it was like, boy, I thought it was about the sneakers, but like y'all letting these internet geeks autograph your Jordans and autograph your face, and I'm like, I don't understand what the point is of this stuff. That's when sneaker con and all that stuff was just
when they started.
It was just a way too out of control for us. So then, like we started talking on the podcast how we talk through thread and how we talk in person. We talk junk and whatever. But when I told people I was going to talk to you, they was like, "Oh, bro, you're gonna lose the legitimacy." Fam, let me explain something to you guys. If I had the opportunity to interview Osama bin Laden, I would. Okay, just to ask questions. Like if I wanted to interview Trump, I'd ask questions. Like you can't have these discussions about things that's a part of the culture and not want to talk to the people who live it and do it. Yeah. You see, Complex would never let somebody like you on their platform.
Yeah,
never. But they should.
The funny thing is I had talks with Brendan Dunn before.
Oh, really?
And I was kind of like, oh shit, this might go somewhere. I can't say much about this topic I'm about to dip my toe in because there's NDAs and shit involved.
Oh,
right?
yeah, okay.
But I made a video. My very first video that I made was me taking some UAs into a sneaker store, which I can't say what it is.
Okay.
All y'all that's been around know. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And they legit checked the shoes as real shoes. And
can you say what shoe it was?
Yeah, it was. There was a few of them. There was the Travis Scott 6. There was a Court Purple. There was a Court Purple Jordan 1. A Yeezy Cloud, or what it was called back then.
Whoever knows.
Whatever, Yeezy 350.
Yeah.
And the LA to Chicago Jordan 1.
Okay. All got legit check?
All of them got legit check. There was one retail pair of shoes mixed in. That was the chicken grease shatter backboards. And that one obviously passed. All of them passed except the Yeezy.
Okay.
And the only reason the Yeezy didn't pass was because I believe I had the reflective version.
Okay.
And something that they did to the retail pairs of the reflective versus the regular ones, as far as how it was built, was slightly different.
Okay.
But it originally had passed until I said, this is a reflective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't realize it was.
So they didn't reflect. Okay.
So I was trying to get that into the hands of the Complex people. This is before I realized just how corporate shilly they were. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he kind of seemed interested at first, and it kind of just disappeared.
Yeah.
He probably made some calls. And
100%.
He asked, like, what the hell is this all about? You know what I mean?
Yeah. They gotta chit chat with other people to do some stuff.
Yeah, so you're right. I mean? They would never allow it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
but like I said, like every podcast on the planet, every YouTuber, every live IG person, everybody has had the discussion in the last I would probably say 2 to 4 years, 2 to 5 years, heavy on UAs, replicas. So what is a UA? And you prefer to call it UA because fakes seem, people still calling sneakers fake. The way they look and are built today is almost like, it's almost stupid. You know what I mean? Replica, I guess. You know what I mean? I consider me personally a replica if you give me a white cement and it got the Jumpman on the back. I'm like, no. If it ain't got Nike on the back, this is a replica of what the original was.
Facts. Yeah.
Maybe made from Nike and from the fact or whatever, but no, you're not going to tell me that this is a white cement from 89 or whatever and it got Jordan Man on the back instead of the Nike Air. You know what I mean? So what's UA, or how do you define it?
For me, I use the term, I started using it more. I never liked using the word fake. If I ever do use it, it's either because I'm just using it as a buzzword, or I'm using it to describe that trash that, fucking Heskix has.
Right.
You know what I mean? When he shows shoes. Because to me, you got to separate it, man. There's levels to it. There's fake, and then there's UA replica. You know what I mean? Replica, even to me, doesn't do it justice. I find calling, like, the shoes that I brought today fakes is, like, misleading. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're teaching people that, trying to make people think that you see me in a pair of UAs that, boom, you're instantly going to know because it's fake, right? Oh my God, look at this guy fucking walking down. You're not going to know they're fake, especially if it's just a one that blends in, a Mocha 1. Well, everyone thinks every Travis Scott is fake that people wear. You know what I mean? But like a Dunk or just regular stuff, So UA to me is just, it means unauthorized. It's not, it wasn't authorized to be made. I'm not saying it came from the same place, the same exact factory that Nike contracts. Right. Because we all know Nike don't own any factories, right? You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it may or may not come from a current contracted Nike factory. A lot of these shoes are made in factories that were once contracted by Nike. You know what I mean? So they have relics of machines that you once used. But you have to separate it. Because if you don't, you're setting a dangerous precedent to where people are going to go to a sneaker event, and if the shoe doesn't scream fake to them, they're going to get got.
Okay.
In a second, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
UA is unauthorized to me. People can decide to change what that means and all that. I choose to say unauthorized. People say they're unauthentic. Some people say they're what's the other word that somebody was using? I can't think of it right now, but there's other ways people have tried to degrade the abbreviation. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's all it is, though, is an abbreviation. People can call it replica if they want to. That's fine. I don't really have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's UA for me.
Okay.
You got to separate fake from UA. Fake is bullshit. You know what I mean?
Right. So they're like, you know, I don't know if anybody's familiar with and you know, I just want to be clear with everybody on here too, like, and if they've ever listened or not, because I got a feeling a lot more other people are gonna listen to this episode, you know, who maybe don't listen to this podcast before or whatnot. But you know, I just want people to understand that, like, UAs, replicas, whatever, it's a part of the culture, regardless of how you feel about it. It's just, it always has been. You know, obviously when we were younger, hey man, they was wild with them. They was way different. But today, in this day and age, you know, with everything is costing as much it is, you got so many more options out there. Either you stick with this, you know, high morality of what you believe in sneaker wise, or you try independent brands, or you go with some that looks exactly like it, you know, whatever the case may be. But it is a part of the culture. Like, so people just need to understand that, like, hey, whether you consider the good, the bad, the regular, whatever you want to call it, it's still a part of the culture. So you always talk about, you know, I'm sorry, man, I love your page. Like, I think it's hilarious. Like, I think it's funny and it makes a lot of sense. Like, people think that you can't make sense, you know.
They can't see past the jokes and the roasts, you know.
Yeah, they can't see. I know. I was like, boy, I'm wearing my tiny chains. I was like, what? I was like, I did not want to wear the tiny chains around Troll, but, you know, that's my style. So, but, you know, I was like, you know, I remember the first time I came across your page, and I was like, man, well, this cat got a lot of graphics and anime and stuff like that in it. But, like, you know, people have a hard time getting past the, you know, sneakers, I talk about this all the time. Sneakers have become people's identity, you know, versus, you know, hey, I just love sneakers and I happen to have a lot of them. It's become like where they feel like I can't cop. Like, you know, it's like, oh, it came out, I got a cop. Or, you know, what if somebody, it's like, it's almost like, what if somebody found out I didn't try or I didn't cop?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And that's a part that I had to break free from, too.
Right.
It's like, I did want to, I set out on this whole thing to let people realize, yo, this whole thing is a farce. You know what I mean? This whole thing is a fucking mass illusion. You know what I mean? Like, these shoes are not worth what they're trying to charge us for, nor do they make you worth more. You know what I mean?
And they people know that, but they have a hard time. They know it because, you know what? It's such a different time now. Like, I remember, you know, I'm not sure how old you are. I'm 40, so I'm
very close.
Okay, so I came from that era. We came from that era of, like, not everybody had them. You know, if you had a pair of Jordans, like, you could be one of 4 kids in your entire school with Jordans. That's
and
how
your family must be rich.
And you, you know what I mean? Don't come with both colorways. Like, if you got both, it was like, this cat is rich. You know what I mean? But today, it's where, like you said earlier, you see somebody walking with a pair of $20,000 shoes that you're like, yo, friends or family, whatever, and you're like, you can't possibly think they're real. But today, you know, what's funny is a lot of people will see somebody in something like that and think they're just rich. You know what I mean? Sometimes younger cats will.
Maybe, yeah. The problem is, though, like, go ahead, go finish.
No. So, like, I have a friend at work and her son, you know, they were out of town or whatnot, and he seen somebody wearing Travis Scott lows or whatnot, and he said, oh my gosh, she's rich. Those are $1,000. It never entered his mind.
Lord.
It never entered his mind that, it didn't even come across as maybe she just got them for retail. It's almost to the point of where things are so expensive and so exclusive that retail isn't even viable.
That's crazy, because I just edited last night a video saying something about the fact that people, at this point, we don't even remember what the fucking retail is anymore. All we know is that shoe is either $300, $600, or fuck you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, is it still on me? My bad.
Yeah, no, you good. I'm sure. Yeah, you good. Sorry, I'm making sure I'm still recording.
So yeah, it's like, bro. Sorry, I'm starting to get mad.
No, do you? Because, you know, like I said, this podcast is about information. Yeah. Feel free, whatever you want to do.
And to the dude who said you didn't kill the legitimacy.
No, he did. He said that, like, well, if you ever think Nike is gonna, I'm like, buddy, I'm on episode 340. Nike ain't talking to me, okay? Like,
oh, yeah, the brands are gonna hit you up. Huh?
Well, you know what's funny is that, like, when you first start something like this, even maybe even in the beginning when you maybe started doing YouTube and stuff like that, you have that in your mind, like maybe they'll want me to do something, maybe they'll get me something.
The only thing I was hoping Nike would call me for is to create the task force that shuts down all these mom and pop resale shops. I want to lead the task force, bust in a fucking place, and be like shining the black light and fucking smell, you know what I mean? Just looking at what they got. I could just look at it and I'm going to assume everything is fake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and see, that was like, sort of my thought process early on, that once you get to like episode 80 and you're like, you're putting in work and you're making your content better and you're doing things, they're not checking for you. So it's like at this point, and the podcast for me can shut down any day. Like, I got a lot of things going on, responsibilities, kids, family, work, all this stuff. You know what I mean? This is just, I keep it going for the listeners, and I do enjoy it, but it's a lot of work.
Trust me, the platform, hope to God one day I know on your podcast on the audio side is better, hitting harder than...
Oh, way harder. Yeah. Like, we're at like about, 1.5 million down. Like, we're audio side, we're good. The YouTube thing,
So the platform on YouTube needs shit like what you're doing. I'm telling you, the quality of how you guys do it. The only thing that would make your show any better is maybe chopping it up with the angles instead of having everyone just static.
Right.
Maybe chopping it up like a first take. You know what I mean?
See, I've tried to do that before, but it's work, man. That editing part.
There's programs that can at least slice up your audio into cutting out the... You don't even need to do that. You don't even need to do that. Just take every track, put it up there, and just...
Do you mean just post up segments versus whole episodes?
No, whole episode, all the cameras set up, but you take the feed from this one, and whatever other ones, you just stack them on top of each other in Adobe Premiere. You can just...
Oh, you just mean like... change the angles.
Just change
yeah. I tried that one time and it worked out okay. You know what I mean? I just never went back to it. I was like, I don't want to make this any more harder for myself. Plus,
it is extra.
It's extra work, and I got into the mindset of like get the video as fast as possible.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
But that would, I'm saying what you're doing even right now is like leaps and bounds above most. So don't stop. Okay.
I'm trying to see, man. But talk to me about sheep. Talk to me what. And, it's a term that's used quite often, but, I want to hear it from the...
All right, for me, the sheep thing is you buy into this illusion. You're buying it. You are a part of the matrix, you know what I mean? Like, and you're like the guy that says ignorance is bliss, and he eats the steak. He's like, fuck it. I know that shoe don't make me any better or any more high value of a person, but...
Right.
I mean, to someone it does, or to, you know what I mean? It's like I'm buying into the dream that if I can get that Travis Scott and put it on, like the fucking spotlight's gonna shine on me and everyone's gonna throw the fucking, confetti and the rose petals and I'm gonna be the fucking man, you know what I mean?
You still think people feel that way?
Fuck yeah, bro.
You think so? See, I heard that we talked about it earlier with the complex thing, and I saw the clip online and they were talking about people being cool. They think it makes them cool.
Yes.
And stuff. You think people still feel that way?
He said it. You know what I mean? Like he's saying it. He speaks for. He's that guy. That show is the mentality of so fucking many people, bro.
Really?
Hell yeah.
I feel like it at a certain point, and I think because like I have a son. He's 10. And he's in 5th grade. You know what I mean? So like he hasn't gotten to that high school, middle school grade yet, whatnot. But like, I feel like. At that age, maybe yes. In my mind, I'm just looking at people our age and adults. And I don't know how many of them I think they're cool or feel cool in it.
Those guys are almost our age. They're like, what, early 30s, late 20s.
Right.
That's still our world, our circle of age group. You know what I mean? Like that's still within our decade. And they... think that sneakers make you cool. You know what I mean? Like, not that the sneakers are cool. It's what does the sneaker do for you? What does it do for your image? How are people what are people gonna think about you when you wear a sneaker that's quote unquote $5,000, $20,000? They've completely forgotten no sneaker costs that much. They are all $200 ish. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think people think like that, and those are the sheep. The people that honestly have fallen into the StockX, like StockX is the fucking MSRP to a lot of these motherfuckers, you know?
Right.
Not only do you buy into, excuse me, I had all this fucking Red Bull.
No, you good.
Not only do you buy into the price, you buy into the mentality that they're selling you, the image that, just like when they said we can be like Mike, you know what I mean? You put these Jordans on, you're gonna fly like fuck. You know what I mean?
They were talking to a specific group of people.
They were.
They were talking to an age group. I thought they were talking to us kids back then.
They were talking to us as kids. They were advertising it like cereal. Yes. They're doing the same right now, but for an adult version. You know what I mean?
Now, I will say with the StockX thing, I do 100% agree. When cats, you know, I had never seen anybody actually doing it. And then I just started recently of cats wearing the StockX tag on the shoe.
Oh, Lord.
That's when I went, oh, okay, StockX now is a flex. Like, I got these off here. I didn't pay retail. I paid more. That's my flex. That's how I looked at it.
I saw some kids at my daughter's school doing that. Kids.
Really? Yeah.
I'm like, you are not even old enough to have a job.
I've seen cats wearing the StockX tag as like a keychain. I've seen it hang off backpacks. I've seen it a few times, and I was like, okay, like now, if you think buying these off StockX is the flex, because to me, and this could just be my age, and I would hope that majority of people within a certain age bracket feels the exact same way. Buying off StockX is like my absolute last resort, and I'm angry about it. I don't care if it's 30 over or 200 over. Like,
it still hurts.
I'm still just annoyed by it. You know what I mean?
Think of all the things, think of all the people and all the lengths they had to go to make you pay that extra 30, 40, 50, 100.
So, like, talk about, like, Vegas sneaker culture. Is there a Vegas sneaker culture?
I don't fucking know, bro, because I rarely see... First of all, I'm not going to no sneaker event. I was going to go...
Is that because, like I said, you have quite the following of good and the following
I don't give a fuck about somebody pulling up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even believe that's going to happen. But I don't go because, to me, it's just... It makes me want to fucking throw up. You know what I mean? Like, the concept of this now, maybe it was different, you know, back when I was... I don't know, too busy and young to fucking even think about going to know, you know, but right now, it's like a fucking stable of sheep, bro. It's just like every stable has the same shit, or they have some really exclusive shit that they're trying to pretend is not a UA, you know what I mean? And then everybody's over there fucking with the same outfits and the same backpacks and the same... what's in the backpacks, by the way? Like, like what the fuck? Like, I want to know. You know what I mean?
So I'll tell you this: whenever I take a backpack, it's because I'm in the mindset of like, I'll buy a few T-shirts, and I just ain't carrying these things around. I throw them in. That's for me.
Okay.
Now I know a lot of people wear their backpacks because it's like Supreme, it's whatever.
I feel like what are you carrying a backpack full of money? Because you're like, what is this?
I don't know what they be doing with it, but I do agree with you to a certain extent about the sneaker events. I'll go to, they've only been the sneaker, I'll use SneakerCon as an example, because like my friends them used to throw events and they were just way more intimate, way more like whatever, they were like sort of like, you know, these are homies we grew up with, like I'm more proud of them type thing. And that was during the Ultra Boost run era.
Yeah.
So it was way different a little bit back then, but then, you know, SneakerCon has only been to Phoenix twice ever. And Phoenix is a top 10 largest city in the country, you know.
I think it's been here twice, too.
Yeah,
or 3 times.
Yeah, so it's been here twice, or maybe 3 times, and you know it is the same thing. You know, it's you know, paying your money and you're really walking and looking at all the same sneakers on everyone's table. And now we talked about this in the past, where it's like the one thing I did used to appreciate about a sneaker event back in the day was it was me selling my collection. Like it wasn't. Now it's just full of LLCs. It's just full of businesses. Like everybody has a business. Everybody got a logo. Everybody got a banner. It isn't like, yo, I'm using this event to unload some of my sneakers. You know, it's now, yo, I got you know, UNLV dunks.
Full size.
I got 4 through 13, and you're like, God dang, you know, when you got all of them lined up, and it's legit the same. You can't. I feel like that's one main thing that took away from what I believe the culture was fine at one point, and I don't think it's bad now. It's just at my age, it's just played out. It's just like, it's a lot of work. It's played out. It's whatever. It's just, if I want to buy sneakers, I'm buying sneakers. It ain't got nothing to do with anything else.
Exactly, and that's the thing is like, like you said earlier, how the kid saw some expensive shoe and was like, oh my God, he must be rich.
Yeah.
That's a generation coming. You know what I mean? Like, we are failing these kids, to be honest with you, to make them grow up and think that about StockX first and not the resale price or the actual retail price first. You know what I mean?
That's actually a good point. I didn't even think about it that way.
You can't have that. You can't have kids walking around with StockX tags on their shoes, because to me, I look at that and I just see a big bullseye on your ass that says fucking dumbass. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, thinking like with my own stuff and my own kids, because, we're having this battle with my son. Like I said, he's 10 and he just seems to want the most expensive things ever. And it's like, why do you
But
want
not just
this
sneakers.
stuff? No, he just... we got into an argument about his pencil box going back to school shopping. He saw it looked like a Bape box. I don't know who made it. I don't know what it was, but it looked like Bape. It was $15. Now, let me tell you something.
Pencil box?
Now, yes. Now, let me explain something to you. Like, that pencil box, that first week of school, you tried to be on your P's and Q's. By Friday, you didn't know what that box was. You know what I mean? So I'm like, no, you get the 99-cent box at Target, hold your pencils in it, because you're going to lose it anyway, or break it. Who cares, But me and my wife talked about it. I had to start having discussions with him about money. Like, you need to understand, because we went to dinner somewhere. I think I said on the podcast, like, we went to dinner and the bill was like, it was stupid higher than I expected. Now, I know where we were. We were in a resort, but I was like, God dang. He's like, how much is it? And my wife's like, none of your business. And I was like, oh, no.
Let him know.
Them French fries that you needed it from, you didn't eat none of them, them was $18. You demanded 6 chicken tenders and you only ate 3? Them was 21. Like, you need to understand that, so I do see that point of like, dang, like if a kid is looking at somebody with Travis Scott's and don't even think like, boy, I just need $165 to buy these, and they think, man, you need $1,000.
Yep.
That's a problem.
That's a problem, and to me, the fact that it's authentic or not shouldn't even matter. The thing is like, you got to give people the full truth, and I feel like social media and a lot of these retail sneaker only jumper man bitch motherfucking, you know what I mean? People are putting out there like, it's gotta be retail, it's gotta be StockX. Look at this unboxing straight from StockX. I paid X amount of dollars and fucking stupid. You know what I mean? I fucking is it gonna sit? Is it gonna sell? Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? If your kid sees a shoe, one, he should know that shoe costs $200. At worst, he should be thinking that guy paid an extra $800 to $900 for that Travis Scott.
All right. Second,
he should know already that there's another option if you really want. That's just me. Let them decide if they want to, because honestly, if UAs were socially acceptable, how many people would be fucking paying resale for anything?
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of guys on social media try to protect not the integrity or the morality of the game and all that. No. It's they're protecting like the fact that they want to feel like they're buying something exclusive. They want to own something exclusive because it makes them feel special. You know what I mean?
I do understand that to a certain extent, because I talked about it even for myself personally. And, it's like that good and bad. Like, but that's how it was set up for you. I got them, you didn't. Okay. And... I think the one part with a lot of sneakerheads is like, see, with me, I have no problem admitting that. Like, I was in that mindset at one point. It was like, if all of us tried and, I got them, it was like, I got them, you know what I mean? It made you feel a certain way. It did. And whatever you were doing in your life, when you hit the block or hit school or whatever it was, and everybody tried and only you and maybe... It made you feel a certain way.
That's a beautiful thing when everyone gets a turn at being the guy that got him.
Okay, that's
you know what I'm
point.
saying?
I get that.
When I say the stuff I say, a lot of people will zero in on a singular thing,
right.
And that's something I'm always trying to refine in my delivery.
Right.
Is to look at this from pretend like we're us human beings and we're looking at an anthill moving around. We can see where they're going, where they're coming from. We can see all the little details of how their society is moving around. that's how I see this. It's like when I say that people want to feel like they're owning something exclusive, yes. But you need to take a step back and realize why. Why do we have to feel like, why do we want to have something that someone else didn't have if it's because you feel like you're better than, or you're bigger than, or you're, you know what I mean? It's like people want to stand on top of everybody wants to one-up each other.
Right. That's what it is.
And I'm more about get what you want that shows your personality, and if you want to use clothing as a way of personally expressing yourself, you know what I mean? Everybody shouldn't be dressed the same way. Everybody shouldn't be talking the same way. Everybody shouldn't. I try to push everybody as equal. What makes us great is what's inside. You know, what's in our mind, what's in our heart, that's what makes us great. Right. Me having a fucking Wahlburger, you know what I mean, doesn't mean that I have anything more to offer another person or the world than the person who doesn't, or the person who has the fake pair or the whatever pair, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's what I mean when I say these complex motherfuckers get off, rock hard off on having access to stuff that other people don't.
Right.
Because it's a cool thing. It's a cool pass thing. You know what I mean?
Like 100%. Which I do feel like, you know, when you have this access to certain things, I almost feel like your opinion isn't even valid at some point, because you're talking to people with different struggles. I think, you know, if, you know, that's the one thing I try to like push with our show is like, man, we were sitting outside in the weather and the things like that for, you know, so I can know the ups and downs. I've been shot at, chased, you know, we've been there. You know, so like when cats that come out, I don't know any of their background. And, you know, I don't even want to just complex. There's a lot of these cats that be on the internet doing things. I don't know their backgrounds. You know what I mean? A lot of them come from money. A lot of them come from a little different background. Yeah. They didn't do certain things. And then even the position that they're in right now, you get sent something like a special package from whomever or whatnot. Your opinion on the culture is almost invalid as far as I'm concerned, because you don't know what the culture is about anymore. You sit, you do what you do, and you get a package and you're good. So let me ask you this too. I want to know, like, when you had made that decision to, like, you know what, hey, I've had enough of this. This is out of control. Was it always to you the reseller's fault, or was it just... Well, because I hear you sometimes, I feel like sometimes when I watch stuff, it's the brands, it's the resellers, it's just a combination of everything.
Exactly. And that's what I mean. You can't focus on one thing. I designed everything I do to be watched in order. You know what I mean? The whole page, from the first video, which is gone now, but the first video all the way to the last is like a concept that builds on itself. Everything you said is the reason. You know what I mean? Everything you said is the construct, a matrix that we live in, you know what I mean? It's and you guys go, oh my God, the fucking resellers, I'll accept it, you know?
Right.
The brand is limiting things, I'll accept it. All these things are in place to exclude people, you know what I mean?
Right.
Everything is in place to exclude, and it all does funnel back to Nike. So from Nike to us, at some point, we disrespected the brand by not buying enough, you know what I mean? And at that point, the psychologist came in and said, you know what we need to do? We need to make fake ass, we need to make a fake ass marketing scheme to make people believe that these shoes are more valuable than they really are. You know what I mean? We can print these shoes anytime as much as we want, but we're gonna cut them off, sell less, and watch as they fucking stab and shoot each other for these shits. You know what I mean? Like, right. And that's what happened. And
now, do you blame, because you talked about mom and pop shops earlier, do you blame, well, I guess it's a combination of them all, but like, you know, I feel like on my end is when stores, I talked about this a while ago with the SB4 release, where I saw a lot of stores where people were still fighting and stuff like that for them in New York and places like that. And I just remember like these stores feeling powerful. Like, They had this power to do these things. Yeah, they got to make their own rules. They got to add things to it. You didn't know if they had 100 pairs or if they really only had 12 pairs.
Yeah.
You just never knew. It was regardless of the energy you put into getting from your house to this store. It was still a lottery. It was still you could get there and be number 18 in line and they could tell you, well, we only got 17 pairs.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We don't know if they had a pallet, a truckload, or if they had just a handful. We have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that it should have been the brand's bigger responsibility to have more set rules in place at these shops? Or just solely straight from them?
I think the brand they do have rules. The problem is human beings are going to always break the rules. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
There's no, unless you have an armed fucking Nike person at the store guarding the shoes, and even that person can be paid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
there is no regulation. So that's why, I blame the brand. I mean, but it's their company. They have to do what they feel is right for their company. They own the rights to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I blame the resellers. They do not have the fucking right to, or the rights. They don't own the rights to do what they're doing, but they're doing it anyway. I blame social media for fucking over-worshiping the shit. But most of all, I blame most of all, and these are the people I'm directly speaking to in my videos all the time. I blame the buyers who are funding the fucking whole thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
The aftermarket part.
Yeah.
I blame the buyers.
Okay.
We cannot fix nothing until we stop incentivizing this behavior.
Right.
Why do they break the rules? Because there's people out there willing to give them a reward. You know what I mean?
That's what I always tell people too. I say, people always try to dissect and figure out what's up with the culture, what happened, all this stuff. And I'm like, it was us. Like,
it was.
We got too greedy. We began, the brands, the stores, ourselves, we didn't give ourselves time to appreciate anything that we actually had anymore. We talked about being younger. When you got that Jordan 4, 1, whatever it was, man, you looked at it all day in the house. You put it on. You kept it. You cherished that thing because that was going to be it for a while. You know what I mean? Now it's every Saturday and sometimes a couple days in between,
Multiple pairs.
They hit you with a shock drop. And like I said, like, I have my own views and feelings on the podcast and on sneakers and stuff like that. But like, we talk about it and we talked about this stuff. I just already know how people are going to view this conversation. I say the exact same stuff on the podcast, but when I'm saying it with you, it's going to sound one way.
Yeah.
They want you to feel a certain way when they shock drop it. You don't even, I've returned stuff to Nike because I don't even get the opportunity to see actually how it is. Is it quality? Is it nice? I don't get the opportunity. I just have to.
You got to buy it
I have to buy it to see it.
To try it, yeah.
Even when we used to go into the Nike town when we had one in Arizona, hey, you guys got this? Oh, yeah, we got them. Oh, can I see it? No. It's like, well, I need to determine, am I going to come back up here at 6 a.m. in the 120-degree weather and wait for this? No, you can't see it. No way. So it's like, I go now, return stuff to the store, and they're like, they act a little weird about it.
They act weird because it's like, what? Because they don't have no resale value?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
I go in there, I return like 5-6 things because it's like, this has been sitting in my closet for a year, months, whatever, and I'm like, I don't want this. And they're like, I mean, was something wrong with them? Like, honestly, they just suck. Like, I don't, okay, well, and you're looked at like, oh, look at this reseller, whatnot. But that's how it's set up. Like, if you're sitting there, whatever you could be doing in the middle of the day, and they don't do it as much as they used to, but boy, when you at work or you in class or whatever, and that shock drop notification,
Yep.
What was do I want? I don't know.
They force it.
You hit that Apple Pay and you just go.
You're never going to see that shoe again if you don't get it now. That's what we are.
Oh,
programmed.
100%.
And that's actually the reality most of the time.
And they've changed it to where they'll shock drop stuff that sits. Like, it's like, I'm like, why'd you shock drop this? But it's like, it makes you feel like, oh, you know what, I got to cop it now.
That's what the shock, that's all of them, most of them. I think they did a couple of Travis shock drops, but the only shock drops I hit, Fire Red 4s, the threes, the reimagined threes, Those are the last 2 shock drops that I hit.
Okay.
And all the way back to the last time the Bread 4s came out. You know what I mean? Those are my shock drops. Whoopee.
Now I will say I do agree with what you said about before, like that feeling that you have when you do hit and no one else hits on them. But it should be spread around more. It should be shared more. It shouldn't be like this person is the guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I do 100%
your whole crew won't hit.
That. Yeah.
You'll hit, and the whole crew won't hit for months.
Well, when it got to the point to where you're now thinking on a technical aspect, I know people who went and bought new phones because they thought, maybe my wear, my whatever isn't working. I know people who call up Nike, why don't I ever hit? What's up with this? Oh, just delete it and re-download it, or create a new account. It's where like people didn't hit so many times for so long that they thought Nike specifically chose them and blocked them. And I'm like, no, man, I don't think it's that.
It may or may not. I know when I first discovered, because look, I was out of sneakers for probably a good solid 10 years when I was DJing out here.
Right.
I was too focused on that. All my money was going to gear and when I came back, there was this thing called Sneakers app. And I know when I got it, I hit on a Travis 6 quick, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I hit on the Bread 4s, and I hit on maybe like there were 3 strong shoes. It didn't, and I was like, oh man, this is like fucking riding a bike. Shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
I remember those days. Yeah.
That quickly changed. And so maybe there is some validity to that.
Possibly.
But
I remember being in the car with like 3 other friends, and we all hit on the same shoe in the car. Like back in the day, we all PSY public school 12s, all of us. So it was like, what the you too. It was the like wow, whatever.
That's how it should be.
Right, it should be that way, but it just seems to not be that way. So let's go back to UAs real quick. So, and I know you brought some pairs because I do want to look at them.
Yeah.
So with the thousands. Actually, let's talk about the UA community first.
Okay.
How big is like what you would say from your perspective it actually is for those that are like confident in expressing they buy UAs and whatnot? Because I know it's a much bigger for the ones who don't admit.
The underground, but the undercover.
Yeah. The undercover, I know is way bigger. Is
infinite, but it's as far as the people that like to get up. Now I don't know about TikTok. I refuse to get the app. I refuse to.
I read too. I have no idea what's on TikTok.
All I see on that is the shit that people send me or that somebody posts. But YouTube, Instagram. Outspoken, not too many.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because they're just doing basic, lifting the shoe up, let me show it, and da-da-da-da-da. They're trying to do that so that they can get their shoes either for a discount or for free, depending on how big of an impact they have.
Okay.
And keep it pushing and not get clapped, not to get their channel clapped, you know what I mean? Outspoken, it takes a little more, I feel like it takes a little bit more courage and a little less giving a fuck. You know what I mean? Because most people, like I said, they want to straddle the fence. They don't want to piss anybody off.
Right.
Is that it's just deeper than that for me.
Is that a big thing, like pages getting shut down, things like that? That happens quite often.
There's one guy, he got his page shut down, I think 4, 5, or 6 times in 1 week.
Really?
And he kept coming back. Make a new one. Can you please? Can you post it? Can you let me share it?
And what's it labeled as? Like what's the reason for it? Like being
promoting counterfeits.
Is that what it is? Okay.
And I keep telling everybody like we gotta elevate, man. We don't have the luxury of just showing a shoe and telling people where to get it.
Right.
Because the people that are sheep in the matrix usually that's what it is. They report.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They get involved in an argument with somebody in the comment section or in the DMs, and all of a sudden that guy's like, I'm gonna report. You know what I mean? Like they going crazy because they buy so heavily into this concept of retail authentic over everything. You know what I mean? You got the swoosh fucking tattooed on their chest. It's I
will say that like when it got to that point, I have no problem with people just more and more people who, I mean, they live by the swoosh. They will only, not even like wearing Adidas. They're just like, it's Nike or nothing. And it's like, and look, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm a Dodgers fan. Let me tell you something. Like, I love them to death and all that, but they don't know I exist. I remember like, buying baseball hats and stuff like that. And like, I'm a Dodgers fan. That's my team. And then I started wearing other teams, and Cats was like, what and I'm like, buddy, I mean, you can go tell the Dodgers if you want. Like, they don't.
Did they forget that they all share the money?
Yeah, like, it's like, you know what? I like the Dodgers. That's my team. But guess what?
But you know that, right? Huh? You know that you buy a Dodgers hat or a Yankees hat.
It all shares the money.
That league. It's all one pot. You know what I mean?
And they view it as like I'm disloyal to the Dodgers. You know what I mean? I'm disloyal to the city I'm from and things like that. I'm like, buddy, if I died today, they're not gonna put me on the big screen in Dodger Stadium and say Greg the Dodgers fan passed away. It really doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Unless you there buying the box seats, acting a fool every damn game.
Yeah, unless you've really
like that gorilla man from the Raiders. You know what I mean? Like the guy dressed in a gorilla suit.
Yeah.
That's one. They might do something for that.
They may do something.
If they don't, let that be a lesson to you.
So let me see what you brought, man. I want to see a few. I want to see
what order I want to do this in.
So like everybody, man, appreciate everybody listening to the podcast. We got the homie Trollmaggedon, call him Troll. You like being called Troll?
Yeah, I mean,
it's such a negative connotation today.
I gave myself that name. Trollmaggedon was meant to be the Armageddon for other trolls.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
For people that I feel are trolling.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the original thought or idea. I mean, obviously that's changed or evolved.
That's like us. Ours was sneak diss because we say whatever we want, but it was like sneaker discussion. It was sort of the play.
Yes.
Added an extra S on it, and then it's like, at this time I'm like, sneak diss was kind of stupid, but whatever.
My name was Trollmaggedon because I had the idea in my mind. I'm going to attack people who attack.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or I'm going to attack people I feel are attacking.
Right.
So we got the classic. Everybody fucking knows that shoe.
This is the Off-White Jordan 1 Chicago
and
10.
It's about a year and a half, 2 years old.
Okay.
Which means it looks more authentic because it's yellow as shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's oxidized.
And I've seen pairs and I'll be honest with you, I couldn't tell if it was real or not. I don't know if there's any specific things you check for or whatever there is. And that's sort of the
I don't try to be
because if I seen you walk down the street in these, I just wouldn't know. Like you're walking down the street, you're doing whatever you can. Even if you did a video and said that these are real, I wouldn't be able to tell. And maybe that's just me not having an opportunity to live with this or something. But
Nobody could say if a gun's to your head and they say, you better tell me if that's fucking real or fake. And guess who it belongs to? It belongs to Drake. You know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody gonna be like, you know what I mean?
Right. Now, I will tell you this, like, when you decided to go the UA route for certain things or whatever, were you concerned or worried about wearing them out? Like, did you go like, okay, well, let's see what happens?
The only shoe I am reluctant to wear to this day, the only one is the Dior ones. But
it's too high.
I wore those to court. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's the one time I wore them shoes. Or every time I had to go to and from an attorney to deal with my old shit, I was wearing the Dior ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's crazy because if I seen somebody wearing Dior ones, I think retail was $2,000 or something like that.
And that's why, because the retail price, that's a real, actual expensive shoe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And in my mind, it doesn't matter where I see a Dior one, I assume it's a UA. I could care less who's wearing it or wearing it. I just assume it's a UA because it's that much money. You know what I mean? And the resale is that much high. I don't go like, whoa, he has them.
Who would wear that?
Yeah, because you know what I mean? I tried to buy them, but I was going to buy them because I was going to sell it. Like, I could.
Because at first, during the pandemic, right?
Yeah, during the pandemic, they were stupid high.
$25K.
I couldn't justify not selling it. Like, I couldn't. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, it's hard to deny a $20,000 profit.
Yeah, you can't. I feel like it'd be irresponsible.
White cements.
And I have these. I mean... And this is a UA?
Yep.
So let me ask you this. Like, I know one thing that you always talk about is like, it's saving money, by not doing resale and things like that. How do you make the determination on who to buy from when it comes? I mean, this looks like
it's even yellowing right. You know what I mean?
and this is, I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm not convincing myself. It's about just keeping it 100. This looks
I brought
authentic.
that specifically because I feel like I heard you say you had it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so. I have this. There is no way that if anybody came walking around there, you'd be like, oh, no way. You could talk about cement splatter and measure. Yeah. You could do whatever you want with a magnifying glass, but there is absolutely no way. It's leather, same. This is, I mean.
You know what I'm going to say? Those are retail. They're going to say those got to be retail because, there ain't no fucking way.
So, let me go back to my question. So, how do you know who to buy from? There are, it feels like thousands. They pop up. I get DMs all day like, hey, how you doing, sir? Being nice to you.
God forbid you get WhatsApp, bro.
We got oh my gosh. Like, it's like, WhatsApp. Oh, how you doing?
To be honest, I, at first, I used to be on the Reddit, the Rep Sneaker Reddit, right?
Okay.
I found a few sellers through there. I was buying from one or two of them. You just got to test it or listen to a reviewer. So they sent me stuff. It was good. I kept buying from them. And then eventually, after about a year or so of being on YouTube, random people were hitting me up. Like, oh, can you work with us? Can we work with you? Can we send you it? Can look at it? Da, da, da.
Right.
I still got my go-tos because they supported what I was doing before anybody fucking gave a shit about me. You know what I mean? So I still cop from them, but for the most part, I don't know until I get it. Now, once I get the shit that they got, and I know which factory it's coming from and who's making it, because here's the thing is, there's only maybe a handful of UA factories. All the sellers are taking from them.
Okay.
The thing that separates them is how good their English is in text, and how good they are at identifying flaws on their own. If there's a factory flaw in the shoe, some of these guys know about it and can reject it, and the amount of shoes they get or the quality of the shoes they get are better.
So since you've been in this a while, you know how to research what to look for, who to talk to, because I'll be honest with you, I think I thought, which I guess is stupid now that I'm saying it out loud, I thought those sellers were making them. I don't know why I thought that.
Yeah,
I didn't think about them just pulling from
some of them have tried to portray like they're the owners of the factory.
Okay.
99% of them are not. It's just there's a fact. It's like they are the Foot Lockers and the factories are the Nike.
I guess that's
you know what I mean?
Put it. Yeah.
So they are just grabbing the factory makes a shitload of shoes, and here come the sellers to grab their stock. And some sellers, the ones that are really, really successful, will just say, just give me a full-size run and we'll sell them as we can. Most of them, though, are waiting. They're buying it as they go with your money. So you'll be like, oh, I want that shoe. They're like, okay, send it to this, or whatever. They get the money. Then they order the shoe from the factory.
Okay.
Factory comes to them. They look at it, or the factory sends them a photo usually, or whatever they do. They go down there and get it. They look at it, then they send it to you.
So, like, I've looked on, like, those places before, and, we've had talks about it on the podcast before, so I like to go on there and a little research and understand things like that. And I've seen, and for anybody, you're a liar if you've never looked on a site and thought about it. You're a liar.
Yeah,
and we've talked about in the podcast when Red October Yeezy 2s first came out, everybody thought about it. I don't care who you are. You could call yourself the most purest sneakerhead. You've descended from the insole heaven, wherever. Everybody thought about it.
Yeah.
Everybody looked. Everybody went to pages. Everybody, whether you decided to or not, everybody thought about it at one point.
Speaking of which.
So... Oh, don't tell me you got one. Oh, let me see. Now I'll tell you this, guys. I know I don't got the box.
There we go.
Now we don't have. I'm not showing the boxes, but back in the day when you used to buy UA sneakers, one thing that like you would see or know or understand about it when people do videos and show them the boxes would be trash. That don't look like the case anymore.
Sometimes they come in, but this like
those boxes you got look pristine.
Some of them are, yeah. Like this one, it's all it is how they package it. This was the Manila sample box, but yeah, it came good, man. But it depends on how the seller decides to fucking package it.
I mean, Oh, it even got, because that's like what the Nike would put on the sample tag.
That's a sample tag, yeah.
Okay, so
because they didn't have, for some reason, they didn't want to make the manila box that it came with, the crazy artsy ones.
I forgot about that.
So they just send sometimes them in sample box like that.
I mean,
but that's just how the Jordan 4 box comes most of the time. It's not fucked up. If very little damage to come from across the world.
And
you know what I mean?
Look, let me tell you something. Like when you buy a box from your local store, it's beat up and trashed sometimes. Yeah. And I'll tell you this, like, regardless of the box, this is at the house. You know what I mean? Like, Catch you're the box beat. Oh, I'm not. I didn't bring the box with me. You know, I'm not. I don't know the font size of.
You know why? All of that shit is because of resale pricing and selling and buying and trading. Like that's what makes us, not us, but that's what makes people look way too close, bro.
Right.
You're looking at shit that don't matter and never mattered.
Yeah, and like I said, this isn't, and I don't think troll is either. You know, no one's trying to convert you into. It's just thinking in a different mindset. Man,
all I'm trying to do is make y'all stop paying.
Right.
Okay, and you know why that is? Because, and not only just paying resellers, sometimes Nike don't deserve our money for the shit they've been putting out.
100%.
You know what I mean?
I definitely agree with that. I've held my good share. I had platinums. I mean, these are them. I mean, you know, I see.
It don't feel flimsy and all the shit they be talking about, and
no,
you know what I mean,
like from all the like identifying individual things that I remember with Yeezys, it has them. You know, I mean, this thing has the right. I'm not gonna say the right weight, but it's heavy. Mm-hmm. It ain't like something cheap. It got the leather insole. If you walk down the street of these, I wouldn't know. Like, now maybe depending on where you're walking down the street, you know. But I'm in Vegas right now. If I seen you walk through the hotel I'm staying at, I wouldn't have thought they were fake. Yeezy 2s and certain Yeezys, now depending on the condition too, because I'll tell you this.
They should be crumbling no matter what, right?
Cats are out here with brand new fresh Yeezys, and I'm like, okay, there's no way.
There's no way. Yeah.
There's just no way. They have to have something on them that's failing at this point. Whether it's color, whether it's crack, it's crumbling, something.
That's why I be saying whenever in this Red October, a shitload of resellers got them, you know what I mean? And they look like this. And when they don't have the plastic, at least on the shit, I'm like, yo.
You wouldn't be able to make the determination.
No.
I'm sorry. I even think, you know, unless it's like some other additional glowing insignias or some secret writing or something, like, I would have imagine a resale shop, anybody having a really hard time.
That's the thing, is because they're not legit checking that. If Drake comes in with that, they buy it. If Jumperman Chris comes in with that, they buy it. If it's the same, like, let's say it's real. If it's real and a fucking homeless person comes in and they're gonna deny it. Their legit check don't mean shit when it's a bum giving it to you.
Yeah.
Which says what about the concept of legit checking?
I will tell you this, just like you had mentioned earlier about the StockX and the going from table to table and things like that. If you're not going to sell it, putting this in a clear box on your table, you wouldn't know the difference. Yeah. If this is what's gonna make,
maybe that's what they're doing.
If this is gonna attract people to your table to take a look at whatever you're selling,
is that a tactic they probably?
It's probably 100% probably a tactic. I would assume. Like, I'm not saying it is or isn't, but like it would make sense. You know.
Let me do an easy one right now, because this one, which is another shoe I can't understand the price of, is the Fragment.
I never understood the price of the Fragment.
Come on, bro.
This right here, as far as I'm concerned, this is authentic.
Like, yeah, it's not even.
Regardless of, you guys know me and you know what the podcast is about and you know how we feel about sneakers, I'm just keeping it real. This is. I don't know the ins and outs of a Fragment. I don't know.
It's a fucking Jordan 1 with a lightning bolt on the side.
Yeah, like, I don't know if they got a signature or I don't know. Maybe this don't have it. From the outside, I couldn't tell. I don't know if this is supposed to be a 12.5 circle or a 8.3. I have no idea. Yeah. The Jordan wings are embossed. This is lasered embossed in, whatever you want to call it. honestly, the leather on this it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm talking like, this is really good leather. You wouldn't know.
It's a Jordan 1.
And in reality, I'm not a fan of fragments. I'm a fan of like, oh, is it a nice Jordan? Of course it is. But like the price and how people feel about these, to me, is stupid. This is if this didn't have the logo, these probably sit. You know what I mean? It's
damn near just a Game Royal.
It's just a Game Royal, black toe, blue, whatever you want to call it.
I have the Royal toes. I'm like, this is the fucking fragment with a blue toe.
I mean,
it's like,
I don't know if
with
you
no
can see, like it just does. Like, you know, now I do feel like the only thing that I would say is that, like, with the people that you know, it's like, if I came walking in with a fragment now, it's too late. There's no way I'm paying that. Yeah. Now, am I solidified in sneakers enough to where people may think it's real? Possibly, but I've never talked about ever owning it before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not paying, what do these go for? 4? 3?
Now? Shit, I don't see it. No. I feel like the last time I saw it, it was like 2.
I think it's up there.
I'm going to look it up because it has been a while since I even searched with it.
These look really good. So going back to that one question I had. So like the variations of, you know, you'll see sellers and they'll say like, I don't know, like a plus pair, or A plus, or God Killers.
Okay, those are just like.
So what is that like?
By the way, someone's asking $3,100. Highest bid is some dumbass wants to pay $1,900.
There shouldn't be.
Ooh, that's a drop. Last sale was $3,000.
Oh, okay. You can do whatever you want with Union ones. You can do whatever you want with Chicago Off-Whites or Off-White. You can do whatever you want, but there shouldn't be a Jordan 1 in that basic silhouette shape.
No.
That much money. It just really shouldn't, especially when you look back at it at today.
No creativity added to it.
Dunks, anything like that, it shouldn't be. But like I was saying, so like what are those like sellers or factory or whatever when they're like, we got the A player.
Yeah, I haven't seen the A and AAA terminology.
Or I've seen like God Killer.
God Killer is just another way of saying Kick-Who. God Killer is Kick-Who's brand.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? They use a factory, I believe it's either H12 or maybe I shouldn't say the factory names.
Before,
it's either H12 or I'm having a brain.
I mean, if you don't want to say it, you don't got it. It's up to you.
No, there's another one that's up there with H12. I'm just having. It's early, so
okay, so like, is that like I guess the less one, the medium one, and
God
the
Killers
great one.
Now are some of the best because it comes from the best factory. But I will say the very first UA or not even this was bad. The first time I discovered this, and I was like, fuck that shit, I'm getting that Union, the red and blue.
Yeah.
Union, I bought it, and it was a God Killer. And it was the worst UA, or the worst fake I've ever had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was me being a little, just starting out. Sometimes you gotta learn the ropes first. You know what I mean? There's levels. So
then on those type of people that sell that stuff, that means like if you order this one, it's coming from this factory. You order this one from this factory.
Now it is, because like I said, when the first time I bought a rep was 2019 or 18, and it was fucked up, like real fucked up.
Right.
Like it went in the trash, fucked up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it said it was a God Killer. And I think that since then, they've stepped it up, use a different factory. But it's always been the God Killer. All that is saying Kick-Who made that. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean shit. It's just like Pepsi or Coke. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a brand name.
Okay.
But you can get a God Killer from a million other sellers.
Really?
Who don't call it a God Killer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I watch your videos and I always see you have no problem saying when you got it, tagging them, whatever. And I went in there and looked and I'm like, okay, let me go to the website, see what this looks like. And I'm like, it has like maybe like 2 other versions or whatever of it. But maybe you can answer this, or you maybe don't even know. In my mind, I always assumed that these factories or people, they get a few authentics in their hands, and then they go from there to perfect it. Why on those like sellers or whatnot, like they create stuff that doesn't exist? Just cause?
Because people want it.
Oh, okay. Because I
got shoes on right now that don't exist.
And you know what's funny is?
Did you see them?
I saw them, but didn't even think that they weren't, out. You know what I mean? Because they may come out. I have no idea. But they look.
Yeah.
They don't look like anything. They're just not a color that's out now.
They're just shoes. They be a custom. You know what I mean?
Like I went in there and I was like, for anybody who thought about testing the waters and wanted to give it a shot, as soon as they see like Travis Scott covered in Louis Vuitton, that would be like, oh, yeah, I'm out of here, type thing.
Right. No, it's a custom now, bro.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess so. I guess if you can go ahead and hit it with that.
You slap Louis Vuitton on any backward swoosh, all of a sudden it's a amazing custom if you are in the right place, surrounded by the right amount of sheep who all support that stupidity in your brain. You know what I mean? It's okay. It's a custom. No, fuck it.
I've seen a lot of people wearing certain things like that, and they said they were customs. Do I know they are not? I have no idea. I didn't see from the beginning to conception or whatnot. But
when did customizers start coming out in such abundance? You know what I mean?
Well, I remember I had said. And this is nothing against the customizers because they do what the customer wants. But I remember I was telling somebody, I was like, once you put Louis Vuitton on this, you turned it into a fake. Like, because it's like you had an authentic Air Force One, and then you told them to put a bunch of LVs on it and that little insignia to make it look like this. You've now turned it into,
I mean, they'll fight, and I know some customizers. But a lot of the real customizers wouldn't even. They ain't doing none of that goofy shit. I'm not turning your fucking Heritage one into a Chicago and acting like I just did something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I just painted a shoe. No, they're putting in like they're artists at heart. The real ones.
Yeah.
They're putting shit on that shoe. You know what I mean? They're adding something to it, not just flippity dippity.
Yeah, and I feel like with a lot of the customers I know a few personal people, and shout out to them. Like they started out that route where it was just like you're just doing whatever they want and what's in and whatnot, and now they're like really putting in some work into their stuff.
They want they want to have their identity.
Yeah, they want to be viewed as a certain way. You know what I mean? And I completely understand that now. So you have any more? Or was that it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, let me see what else you got.
I only brought one so I could. Squeeze.
Because I was like, isn't that a risk?
This one's on a lot of tables too.
Because isn't it a risk? Even though I know this is a UA, looking at it, I still went.
Yeah.
Isn't it a risk of like wasting money by not knowing where you're getting it? Because you could get that bad when you throw in the trash. Like,
yeah, there's really nothing you can, but there's a lot of places to go to find out where to go. You know what I mean? Like, I can only do so much. Like, you find out about me, I'm going to tell you where I get this, where this came from. You can go get it. And it's going to be the same damn thing. You know what I mean? So,
have people that like I'm about the culture, I'm in it, reached out to you to ask, look, where, how?
Yeah. Well,
you don't gotta say who they are. If they have,
they have. There's been quite a few people that have converted to this because it just makes more sense than paying $1,000. It's like if you don't pay high resale and you don't want the UA, if you able to wipe your hands and be like, I'm moving on, I'm skipping it. That's beautiful. That's fine. You're not hurting us. You know what I mean? I think that's a misconception too, is like, I think that you have to buy it. You better buy that shit or I hate you, No, I just want you to stop paying these resellers. We're addicted to shoes, bro.
Oh, 100%.
This is sick.
Oh yeah, I tell people all the time it's mental illness. Like people
it is. Yeah.
People that people find out like how much I'm into sneakers and they find about the podcast and how many sneakers I got and all this stuff. Oh my God, bro! Like and I say it's a bad habit. Do not get into it. It's mental illness. Like it really is. And I got no problem saying that by myself.
Luckily, it doesn't physically harm us.
It doesn't, or others sometimes.
Yeah. But it's like.
Let me say something first. Like regardless of these being UA. These are fire.
They're just a fire shoe, bro. It's that simple. It doesn't have to be.
I don't know if the camera could do this justice. Like these joints, huh?
Face it toward the camera. Let me see what it looks like real quick. Yeah, you can kind of see. You can kind of see the detail of the suede.
I mean, the suede on this is immaculate. It's not good. It's not okay. It is legit soft and immaculate.
Yeah. It makes you think. Does it make you wonder why someone is out there paying $20,000?
It makes me wonder why someone would, and it makes me look at other people's pairs differently. Like, I know people who are in that. Like, I know that they got theirs from someone. I know they're in it deep. Like, I know them. But I know a lot of people
college
too that
PE,
like
though.
I know them personally, and I know them as people and who they work for and who they know and associate with. So I'm gonna go with it.
Okay.
But I also know a lot of people who are just regular 9-to-5 guys who like, look what I got.
Yeah.
You know, Michigan. I know those guys too, and I know that spending 15, 20 on this would kill them, like physically.
Yeah.
This is really good. If you're that person that goes like, oh, look at the paint brush stroke. If you don't stop, the sole is clear. I mean, this is crisp. The structure of it is a Jordan 4. The weight is of what I would expect of a... These is crazy.
Yeah, man.
I'm not going to lie to you.
That's the whole point of this. Like, I'm like, you guys got to understand. And the more you get, like, the more you see this shit, like you said, you're looking at everything different. You're like... And you should.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You shouldn't trust nobody in this when it comes to resale.
At this stage in my thing, I just sick and tired of spending money. I'm like, look, you ain't getting no $230 out of me. I ain't doing it. Certain things, yes, but like on a regular basis, I ain't got time for it. Like if I can't wait for it to go on, that's all you gotta do nowadays. Wait for it to go on sale. Like this stuff is, cheap. I've never seen these in person. So I mean, same structure as a Jordan 4, same quality. I couldn't tell you. I mean, it's got the numbered in it, leather insole.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you.
And these are shoes you won't never see in person and be able to know for sure that it's a legit.
And I view these and how they released and things like that as a pair that I should never see in person.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way it came out in Manila. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like this is something in a pair that like I probably shouldn't see in person. I mean, the suede right here on the midsole is good. I mean, I couldn't argue with you. Like, I couldn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe somebody could. Not saying that you can't and somebody couldn't.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like, how many people are going to actually do what you're doing right now and take the shoe off someone's foot in public,
right,
and inspect it for no reason, just to see? I want to see if your shit's real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't get the fuck away. You know what I mean?
But in reality too, as well, is that like these are so rare. You don't have a baseline to comparison to. Like you, if you came in here and said that these were authentic, I couldn't tell you they weren't. Like I couldn't be like, well, I don't know. The man looks a little funny. Like.
There's dudes selling blue Houston Oilers Travis Scott 6s in sneaker events.
All right. And they call
Are you fucking for real?
Yeah.
And what do they say? What did he say in that shit that I put out?
I seen the cat.
He said, I don't see anybody else in here with this for you to compare it to.
All right. I don't know if it was you had posted or someone else. A guy had Travis Scott's Chicago.
Oh yeah, the Soul Priority is the name of the guy who went to the Got Soul sneaker convention, and yeah, a table full of Chicago Travis Scotts.
All right.
Yep.
He had them all lined.
And every unimaginable variation of a Travis Scott low. You know what I mean? Every colorway you could concoct in your brain, he had.
Right. And you had made the point of. And was it you in the video? Were you in the video or no? Or
no, it was just his.
Okay.
These might be my favorite. I just got these yesterday. Oh, I should have got the one with the E on it. But that's the Carhartts, bro. The Carhartts.
Did the Carhartts come with this on it?
It came with one of them with the Jason mask, and the other one has the Eminem E on it on the back.
I think I've only seen the E on it, but I've never seen these in person, so I couldn't tell you anything. It's
just fun, bro. it's just fun to even be able to, even if it ain't the one that Marshall wore, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's just fun to be able to.
Look, man, I'm just keeping it real with the listeners and everybody who watches this. I mean, these are fire. It's just the way to put it. Did they come out of the hands of Phil Knight? No, I don't know. But this canvas is high quality. If you need to hear something like that to make you feel some way. It has the leather all around it. It has the Eminem on the insole, the Eminem Carhartt logo. I mean, he has the one with the Jason mask or whatever that is on the back, the Voorhees. Clear sole. I mean,
it's just fun, bro. It's just so much fun.
Now, and let me ask you this. Why, and I understand you've explained it like...
It's okay.
You've explained, your bigger reasoning for this, but why did you decide to go the route that you're going versus just not saying anything? Because if I seen you wearing these, I wouldn't have... You could have easily, with the research you've done, with the knowledge you've gained... Just keep buying the absolute greatest UAs on the planet. Walk in any sneaker con, any sneaker event, any party. Hold on now. Faking it is... Now, people say that. People go...
Oh, you mean but not being on social media? Just existing in life with crazy shoes?
Yeah. Honestly, if you posted on social media, I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't, You know what I mean? But just existing with your shoes, because... That's the thing. People love to say this. Yo, I don't have a problem with people wearing UAs as long as they don't act like they real. Well, I don't know what that means because don't nobody be like, hey, gang, Authentics. No one does that. If you walked into the party wearing this or walked into sneaker con wearing this or walked into the mall, walked in anywhere wearing this, you don't have to say, I would just go, oh, dang, oh, shite, he got the Carhartts on. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be a thing. Why didn't you just do that? Why didn't you say, like, man, I
mean, people probably, I might be a slightly bit crazy, but this crusade to be so aggressive, honestly, is because of my one of my kids. When I got back into the sneakers, she kind of brought me back into it when she started playing ball.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah, fuck it, man, let's go. I haven't been in a Foot Locker, you know what I mean, in a while. I've been wearing the same broken-ass fucking pair of Adidas for, well, the whole time I was DJing, right? So, or trying to come up on a DJing ladder. Long story short, man, they didn't have something in stock that should have been in stock in droves. And I had been gone. When I come from, I'm walking in and getting whatever I thought, whatever was supposed to be in that store. So for them to tell me that this particular shoe is sold out for my kid.
Right.
And then I found out that same day from the same person, oh yeah, you got to go on this app now and you got to, and I'm like, huh? You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I just went down the rabbit hole, found out about the greed and the reselling and the botting and the stealing and I'm just like, for what? For what? Yeah. For shoes? And that might be why I'm like this, is because I didn't stick with the sneaker culture from the 80s all the way to now. Okay. I detached.
Okay.
Like someone like you, I assume, you never stopped, right?
Yeah, well, you had those block of time. I had that block in my life. I'm in college, and I'm like, yo, Jordan doesn't care about me. I don't know. I sold all my sneakers, but I still bought here, bought that.
Yeah.
Well, I got to have this. I'll keep and then it was like, I keep it 100 all the time. I tell people, I had stopped in college. My first time, I sold 500 pairs to this guy in Germany, Amsterdam. Shipped them.
God damn.
Sold 500, right? Got all the, it's funny, I'm in Vegas. Got all this money, and I just took trips to Vegas and spent on friends and throwback jerseys and dumb stuff. 100% truth. Then it was like, but of course I kept like, I'm still keep like this 25 pairs. Mm-hmm. And then it turned to like, it's 26. And then it was like 30.
They pulled you back.
You just kept going and going and going. And then once I was started at a community college. Then when I transferred to university, a lot of people, see, this is the thing with sneakerheads. Like, people in a sneakerhead community and circle, you could all stand in a circle and be wearing the most expensive stuff on the planet and really don't got it going on in your life.
Yeah.
You really could. When I went to college, I think I really saw that. People were there for college. Everybody wasn't there. People was wearing whatever they fell out the bed in. Mm-hmm. They were going to college. I was one of the few that were like trying to put my fit together to go to economics. So then I had came through with like a pair of Jordans on. Cats they weren't caring about that, but they lost their minds. Like that cat got him, and then I came up and it pulled me back in. Because that special feeling
yes,
and what it was. I got no problem admitting that stuff. And it pulled me back in. So then it just kind of like kept going. It slowed. It got better, whatever. And then starting the podcast. You start a podcast, it makes you feel like you got to buy everything in the world at first. And then you like realize like, oh my God, like, But I think I can understand that point if you would have never.
Well, I don't know, man. Some people, people can't fathom it sometimes, but there are just some people that are wired to want to do something they feel is helping people. You know what I mean? Right. Some people are just wired to be outspoken. I want to try to make a difference, and there's some people that just want to hang back. I always want to, be in the shadows. I don't want nobody to notice me. I don't want anybody to look at me. I just want to fucking live my life.
Do you feel you're misunderstood then?
I am.
Or do you feel like the message could be misunderstood? Bro. Because you are pretty aggressive now.
Like I said, like I said, I'm constantly with every video trying to refine the way I deliver it, because it's an onion, right? There's so many layers to this. There's the reseller level that's got its own layers of issues. There's the Nike company and the way that they have manipulated our brain chemistry. Right. You know what I mean? That you can talk about. There's the social media influencers and blogs like Complex who capitalize off of the exclusivity and the brain chemistry manipulation of Nike. You know what I mean? The reason why they have been starting to come out with all this UA slander, you know what I'm saying, is because what happens to Complex if we all start looking at a Jordan, any Jordan, like we look at a pair of Vans, what's going to happen to someone like Complex? Well,
that's sort of how I view it now. Like, on the podcast, I have a really hard time keeping it going, mainly because it's a lot of work. But at the same time, I'm having such a hard time looking at sneakers how I did originally. Mm-hmm. A Dunk, I talk about it all the time. A Dunk is a Van to me. Yeah. There's no technology in it. It's shoe. It's low top. You can't, you know what I mean? But, a lot of people have these right here. I'm sorry. These are crazy, though. Like, these are crazy. Even if you didn't think much about these, UA or non-UA, these are fire.
I almost brought this with the black canvas 4s, because I put them next to each other today before I came. Yeah. And trying to just, see how I felt when I looked at this one being the M&M one, and the other one being the, I guess, public version of the M&M one. Release, yeah. And as small as the differences are, just a little red on the tongue on the other one, and this is plastic gray instead of metal, and the sole is gray. Right. That's it. Same shit. I was just like, but fuck, man. I like both. Right. I gotta have both. There's something. There's an occasion to wear something shiny with a little shine to it, and then there's the regular one, and it's just like. But at the end of the day, it's a shoe. If
I seen you walk through a sneaker event with those, I would have just assumed that they were authentic, only because of the setting. That's the.
Well, to me, that's the thing. Once you start seeing this more and more, any shoe over 500 is fucking, in my mind, that's probably a UA. I don't know why. I'm just wired to think that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm
because I know how easy it is to do it.
I think there's a lot of people, I know some people personally who got back into sneakers. Like, there was like something that they just always really, really liked. So like I have a friend at work, and I always try to help her husband get pairs of sneakers. And, he got back like, oh man, I want these, because it was like maybe black red 11s, red 11s, I don't know what they were, and he's like, oh man, I just always wanted these. I want to be, but he had no idea sneakers existed. He had no idea about shock drops. He had no idea about this stuff, and then it was just like, oh my gosh, like it blew his mind, like his world.
That's what happened to me.
Okay, yeah, and
but in the opposite way, I'm like, this is too much,
because I have another friend, right? And he's like a casual friend. Like my wives are friends with his wife, and me and him are just like, hey, how you doing? You know that whole type of deal. and he's the biggest Dodgers fan in the entire galaxy. Makes my fandom look ridiculous. And he knows nothing about sneakers, could care less about sneakers, but he really wanted the Dodger SB because he knows it exists. He knows it's Dodger.
Okay.
And he's like asking me like, hey, can you help me get it? And I tried to help him from a few skate shops. I tried and obviously failed and whatnot. I said, hey, man, and he's like, yeah, I went to like this thing called Gold and all this stuff. And I saw him for like $340, $420. I'm like, oh, yeah, I just wanted to get me and my son a pair. I was like, I can't pay that. I'm not doing that.
Okay, I'm about to say, I hope he didn't.
No, he didn't. And I felt, I was like, hey, man, I'll keep a lookout. I'll try whatever. And I immediately thought to myself, should I tell him that there is another option? Like, should I say, hey, man, you're not in the sneakers. You're not in the community. Mm-hmm. You're not hanging out with, us cats. You ain't doing that. You're not going to go anywhere where somebody's going to be like, them ain't real. You want blue SB dunks that represent the Dodgers for whatever reason. They represent the Dodgers. I don't understand. It's a skate shoe.
Yeah.
If you and your son just to wear birthday parties on the weekends, going to the baseball games, I felt like I should have, or still could. I honestly still could say, hey, buddy.
I mean, why? The clear question is why? What made you not do it? You know what I mean?
I didn't do it because I didn't want him to think I do that. Be honest with you.
Okay.
I didn't want him to think like, oh, so that's how you have so many. Because I built that up from everybody knows me as, man, Greg and Sneak. Everybody. Whether they know a Jordan 1 from a Jordan 30. They don't know the difference of anything.
You didn't want it to devalue the time and, most importantly, the money.
That's what it is.
You have spent to build your shit.
And I'm like, does that make me selfish or does that make me feel like I'd rather see him put himself, pay $800 for him and his son versus, hey, buddy, you don't need to do that.
That's another layer, bro. The feeling that you had of I don't want him to do this and that is another aspect of why I do what I do. I don't want any grown man to feel that. Imagine what we would do, right? Man, I mean, we got to get real kind of messy.
Do what you gotta do, man.
I hate this is good. I sometimes go on these like
do what you gotta do.
Divergence, but it comes back, right?
Do what you gotta do.
I was watching. I'm watching these. I'm a huge movie fan. I watch movies all the time with my kids. There is so much male emasculation and fucking females that are this big, whooping men this big, and the men can't even stand up straight, and they fucking just they don't gotta train, they don't gotta do nothing, they just whooping ass, right?
I talk about that on the pod all the time.
Do you?
I can't. Well, because like George and Cats always think that I'm like, buddy. They were talking about a new show called Lioness on maybe one of the shows. There's a show and it has the girl that plays Gamora and whatnot. Uh-huh. And I said, oh, hold on. Now, is she beating up 3 dudes? I'm not watching it. Not to say nothing against women. I got no time for it. But I'm not. You begin to. You've turned the show that's about military tactics, the military. You turned it, and now come on.
And the thing is like it used to be fucking awesome to see a female whooping ass. Like a Black Widow movie, great.
Yeah.
It's Black Widow.
And I view that a little bit different.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, in general, it's every fucking movie now I'm watching is like, yo, why the fuck is this guy such a sensitive little pussy? And then the woman is like this brute fucking, and it's just like, they're emasculating us, I feel like, as men. In general, as a society, men are starting to fucking. It's not equal. Like we wanted men and women to be equal. There's men, women. Now it's like women is.
You think it's because I don't want to get too deep in this, but do you think it's because men are starting to feel a little bit more scared to be men, or is that the same thing to you? Like I feel like the risk, like even saying what I say about like things like that. It's still a little thing in you that feels like, hey, I don't want nobody being mad. Like,
I don't want no problem.
I'm sorry. I don't Black Widow was Marvel. I'm one of the biggest Marvel fans on the planet. I love it. I view Black Widow as special. So it's like, okay, she beats up a whole army of guys. She's special. She's a hero.
She's Black Widow.
Now, if I'm watching Equalizer and Queen Latifah is the main character, I'm like, on CBS, Equalizer, Queen Latifah is the main, and she infiltrated a building, came in, shot the AR-15, killed, flipped them and kicked them, and I said, wait a minute, these are, you just
wait
called.
Wait a minute, she is the Equalizer.
She's the Equalizer. And I said, you just called all these men these foreign mercenaries, but you went in there and blew the building up, flipped them on their heads, took their guns, shot them, killed them. No.
And the thing is like, I don't even care about that. I love seeing that.
Yeah.
The problem is that we're getting 10 movies like that to one Fast and Furious. Right. You know what I mean? Or one Black Adam, something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And to me, it's just tipping the scale. I don't know if that's having some type of weird butterfly effect on our mentalities.
Right.
But the point is that as a society, I just feel like we as men gotta be tougher, stronger in every aspect. You know what I mean? Imagine a bunch of men not giving a fuck. Right. I got fucking a TikTok of some bitch talking about how she wouldn't date a guy wearing fake shoes. Like, oh hell no, I can't do that.
I think I saw that you posted. It's the one that was like, the girl.
No, that's the reverse.
Oh, okay.
That's a guy, and that too is bullshit.
Right.
You see a chick that's a 9 and you gonna tell me you ain't gonna hit it?
They liars. I saw the video and I said, buddy, you're lying. I mean, worst case scenario, you would just say you'd buy her some sneakers. Like, if that really bothers you that much, like, you figure it out. You don't see what, quote unquote, a 9 and be like, absolutely not. Like,
no.
You would figure out, if it really made you that uncomfortable, you'd figure out a way to make yourself feel
You're not gonna do it.
You're not gonna do it.
And the reversal of that is the fact that we as men we never enjoyed coming across somebody and they find out they're a gold digger. We like them and they just in us for our money, they just in us for this and that. We wanted them to actually like us.
Right.
The benefits of that come later, you know what I mean?
Right.
In this sneaker culture now, it's like a lot of motherfucking men are in the sneaker culture portraying or having tendencies that I'm looking at as like, man, that's female shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's you're talking about putting on shoes that are expensive, but they're not really expensive. It's like the female version of the red bottoms, you know what I mean? But those are actually expensive. You're pretending to have a shoe. You made that shoe expensive. That don't change what it is. You can color a turd gold, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's still a turd underneath. All these shoes are cheap, you know what I mean? Yeah. So not only why are you so concerned with or why do you feel that this shoe is an actually expensive product that elevates you and your status as a man when most women don't know the fucking StockX value of these sneakers? Right. You know what I mean? They don't even know what the fuck you're wearing. A lot of them. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
The way to circle it back to you didn't want him to think that. Yeah. The reason I talk the way I do and do what I do is because you shouldn't give a fuck. You know what you did to get those shoes. You know what I mean? He's not a social media person. He don't watch nothing.
You wouldn't know he existed. That's like, he's just man with wife, kids who coaches baseball.
So that's what I mean.
He's like, he's man in the neighborhood.
So that thought should have didn't even cross your fucking mind because he don't know what your collection is worth anyway. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, I just see all these things, and in my mind, I stitch together all these things going on in our society as a whole, and I view the sneaker culture as a microcosm because it's mostly men. You know what I mean?
I mean, people think people that are like in the culture or whatnot, they'll act like it's like the official description of like the entire world. Like anything that happens in little sneaker culture, they feel like it's worldwide. You know what I mean? It's like the other day we had talked about they had showed like the most popular brands in the world, and it was like based off shares or something like that. And New Balance was last, like number 9. But if you would have asked Sneaker Culture last year, 2 years, New Balance, they close to Nike, you know. And I'm like, no, we're just so in here that we really don't know what's going on. No, New Balance was last behind
to be honest,
Skechers.
That New Balance thing has been weird to me, and that's the thing is like, okay, people talk about how we gravitate towards hype, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I brought some non-hype UAs. Okay.
What you got?
Here we go.
Oh, okay.
Why would I have that? You know what I'm saying? Why would I have that? That ain't hype.
No.
But it's like,
I mean, god dang, what is this?
That's the Chinese, what's it called, the Chinese New Year?
I mean, I've seen this, but I didn't know all this was on the inside. That's kind of fire.
Yeah. Somehow I missed on those. I saw them in the back wall at an outlet one day. They weren't my size. Somebody had returned them. And I saw them. So I seen them in person. I'm like, yeah, shit, I want them. This
might be... I ain't never seen any of this.
You didn't know that it had all that shit?
Fam, these joints... these joints is kind of clean.
Those were sleepers right there.
I guess so.
The only thing that made it better to me is if it glowed on the bottom. Because I like shit.
Yeah, I did see that thing. I mean, you know, glow things are a nice touch, but I'm never anywhere dark enough for it to glow.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing that kind of...
You know, I seen cats losing their mind over those Vomeros that like, the blue glow. I'm like, but you wearing these...
I have yet to go anywhere but the movie theater with Travis 6 or something in it.
Yeah, like, shiny. I don't be in the club anymore. Like, and even then, you can't even get in with your Jordan, so it don't even matter.
Yeah. Actually, that's more accepted now.
These is crazy. Like, I've never even seen that.
One of these, and of course, the infamous red flints.
Let me see. Let me see. I mean, these are flints. Like, there's nothing on these. You know, I would feel like if there was anything that a company or a factory would have a hard time doing would be like this, whatever. But no, looks like it has the reflective in it. You know, it seems a little bit lighter maybe, but I couldn't tell you the last time I held a 13.
I had this with this. That's a UA. My regular flints, I ended up catching them on Foot Locker restock or something, and they're the same weight. 13s are surprisingly light.
Really? Yeah. Like, this reflectors good. I mean, carbon fiber looks good. It even has where like a lot of those 13s where like when it gets dirty, it's like certain parts that don't get dirty. It's like the paint or whatever they did. That's on Authentic or UAs. That's on everyone. Yeah. Suede looks good on this. I don't know if the Jumpman is the right size or not, but I couldn't tell you. I haven't looked at a 13 in a long time.
So yeah, man, it's just I view the sneaker. Like you said, some people. You put on a fucking shoe that's $20,000 or $20,000.
Right.
Everybody sees it. Everybody knows what it is, and everybody is like, "Damn, this motherfucker must have money," right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing that like a lot, you know, are trying to portray and stuff like that. I had told somebody on the podcast. A last episode we did. I said people need to understand like the difference between people with money and not money. And it's like, you know. There are people that like view somebody with money who doesn't have kids, don't pay a mortgage, they don't got these things, like they don't have like a legit thing. They think like, man, he's loaded, and it's like, no, he just doesn't have the same responsibilities as everybody else. I'm like, to me, a person you look at that has money is who has a lot of those additional responsibilities and can participate in these other additional things. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, and I talk about all the time, like, with people, I say, like, you know, man, focus, pay attention to yourself at this point. Like, you know, people love to say it, but they don't know how to live by it. They'll be like, I mean, they're just going to retro it again. Well, then don't buy it today, man. Go ahead and pass on that. You know, go ahead and pass on that. It'll come back in about 4 years. You'll be all right. You know, you can wait on it.
There's a lot of shoes that'll sit for 4 years and you'll forget to wear them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
so I hope people listen to this episode and just learn something and understand it and, you know, sort of like, you know, just whether you agree with it, disagree with it, indifference, you know.
And try to, anybody who may watch my content, just try to take a step back from it and the part, or first of all, just if you that sensitive, just ignore the jokes part. The reason I roast these motherfuckers is because they roast us, okay? Because they talking shit about us and our fakes and how broke we are, you right? Yeah. I mean, I wear fucking cut off, sleeveless. Everyone talk about my fucking sleeveless hoodie and this and that. Like, man, it's hot out here,
right?
And I'm coming to or going to the gym at some time, every day, so it's comfortable for me. Right. You know what I mean? It goes all the way back to the schoolyard when it's like, yo, telling your kids, like, somebody make fun of you for fucking this or that. Like, fuck them. That's sneaker culture. In essence, a bunch of motherfucking people in a sandbox,
right,
judging each other and trying to out jump each other and trying to out swing each other on the monkey bars and trying to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jump farther on the fucking swing, all that shit, and then making fun of motherfuckers for having ratty beat up shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Now you're trying to tell me that you would respect me more if I had ratty beat up shoes as long as they came from a fucking
What's your
tailor?
favorite excuse from these from people? You know, people love saying like, you know, like, oh, now you have a closet full of nothing that's worth anything, or you have a
you mean the what's my favorite phrase that they use?
Yeah. Because I find it amazing that, like, you know, I mean, everything is hypocritical, whether it's religion, it don't matter what it is. There's a lot of stuff that's hypocritical, and it's like, you know, one of the main mantras of, like, if you're a real sneakerhead in the sneaker culture is, like, you wear your kicks and things like that. But then at the same time, they'll use that against you in, like, buying a UA and stuff like that, saying, like, now they're worth nothing. What if you needed to sell them? I thought the point was just to wear them.
Yes.
Like, I don't, now here's the thing. I have never looked at my closet as, like, boy, this is an investment.
This is a bank account.
But, boy, when, like, I felt guilty. I haven't been on a guy's trip in a long time.
Yeah.
I told my wife, we playing family stuff. I felt bad coming here to Vegas I'm like, you know what I did? I returned a bunch of stuff to Nike and used that money to do it. You know what I mean? I was like, well, if you want to consider that an investment, whatever the case may be. Because it's like, I'm sitting on all these sneakers that I don't wear. It's not
return. Wait, can I return? Because I want to return the Peach Khaled's.
I returned stuff from 2019, 2020 2 weeks ago. As long as you got the receipt and they're unworn, you get a full refund.
What the fuck?
Everybody listening to this episode a few weeks ago were like, fam, are you serious? Fam, I took back stuff I bought during COVID. I took back stuff I bought before COVID. And they're like, whoa, bro, these are heat. I'm like, bro, knock yourself out. Like, people don't know that. If you look at Nike's return policy, it says that you can return anytime unworn and with the original order number. You can wear and beat the sneakers to a pulp for about 30 to 60 days.
Okay, that's the one I think I know.
And you can get your money back for that. There's a date on the tongue of every sneaker that says that. So when I tell my wife, I said, yeah, man, the hotel and all this, and I know we already got stuff planned for the future, and we already been on a bunch of trips. I'm gonna go ahead and return this stuff to Nike. I took back stuff I legit bought during COVID, and it was like, I'm sitting on these Air Force Ones I don't need. I'm sitting on these Jordan 3s. I took back some original Sakai, like my.
Damn, really?
They were like, these are bangers. I'm like, buddy, have at it, man. They were on the walkie-talkie. Bro, a cat brought a 9.5.
Slide that shit.
And I'm like, hey, man, I brought a bag full, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, it is what it is. But, like, that's the only time I review that. But, like, you know, like I said, man, I appreciate your content. I view your content for what it is. I'm glad I got a better, deeper understanding of, like, what you look at, you know? And, you know, if, like you said, bypass the jokes and stuff like that. There's a deeper meaning into it.
Just bypass the jokes.
The jokes add to it, though. It's funny.
I gotta do it because it's like if you again the sandbox thing. If you see a little a kid over there getting fucking picked on and teased, are you just gonna watch or are you gonna possibly step in and say fucking back off? You know what I mean? I'm the guy that steps in while you guys are poking at the whole goddamn rep community and talking about how smelly and broke we are.
Right.
Somebody's got to do it because all the content we see is people bashing UAs.
100%. And that's even a funny thing. People are like, oh, you're broke. I'm like, buddy, like that's, first of all, UAs aren't free. You know what I mean?
UAs cost damn near as much as retail.
And, it's saving money. It got nothing to do, you know what I mean? You've heard it all before.
The broke mindset. But so you asked my favorite excuse is probably the one that makes me, I'll say this, the one that makes me roll my eyes the hardest is this ain't the culture.
All right.
That one makes me roll my eyes the most because there's so much more behind that statement. For someone to say that, it tells me immediately how deep you really are sunk into this shit. Right. You know what I mean? Like you are bathing in Nike Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I saw like one thing you had posted a while ago, and I don't know who this cat was. It looked like a TikTok thing. He had like a wild afro, and he was like, bro, he was just really into the camera.
Yeah, he was bad.
I don't know who that cat was, and I was like, hey man, it's cool you feel that way. I'm thinking to myself like, man, it's fine you feel that way, but man,
it's like yo, he said something about the Terminators.
Yeah, he acted like he did. He acted like somebody did something to him. them. Like I was like, God dang, bro.
We
like,
did.
You know,
we hurt. It hurts. It hurts their ego.
And you know what? That's definitely a part of it, because this is how society, and I'm going to get into things too because I got kids and stuff like that, and we talk about how society is different all the time, and I talk about it all the time with my kids. Like, I remember when I wasn't doing good in school, I had to go beg the teacher, like, yo, come let me extra test. Like, I gotta get half credit, I get fourth credit. I would have to beg for that stuff. Today, the kids today, they cannot do homework the entire semester, and the teacher says, if you just finish all of it, I'll give you.
Oh, there's no accountability.
My son, when he was in high school, I have an older son, he's 24. When he was in high school, he had a D, from a D over the weekend to an A, just like that. And I said, how? Like, huh? Bro. And the thing about it today is, like, that accountability is like, people think putting in that hard work of getting 18 raffle tickets and staying up all night on multiple phones, they feel like they put in that work. You know what I mean? They feel like it's just too easy for you guys. Like, it's not fair. You know, people love to say, like, I got a story behind my sneakers. Look, in my closet now, I may have 4 stories.
Exactly.
And I got a ton of sneakers. Now, I may have an original story for a retro, but majority of people are lying. Like, I see cats like, bro, I could tell you what happened when I was here. And I'm like, yeah, I was sitting on my couch and I entered, and that's how I got it. There's no story behind it.
Exactly.
But people hold on to this nostalgia so hard. A lot of people do hate the fact that, like, somebody can find the easy way out than what they did.
And it's past versus present more so. Because like the one that you're talking about, the video that the guy that was saying that shit, he had a pair of Thunder 4s. What story could you possibly have with that?
What happened?
There was this video I have that on Instagram. He's talking about every story. Every shoe has a story. I can remember how hard it was to get and who I was with. And you got the yellow, the Lightning, my bad, Lightning 4s. Okay. What story could you have?
Right.
Like, bruh.
No one's camping
We all
anymore.
did the same shit for that shoe. We sat on our ass, got on the phone, and fucking tap it away. You know what I mean? And prayed.
100% fact. Like, you ain't camping outside. You ain't in the rain. You ain't in the snow. You do it all
you can tell me, if you're going to tell me that you were in a high-speed fucking chase.
Right.
Or you were drunk driving and trying to operate the phone while you were copping that shit. Now, that's a story. You know what I mean?
I think the last legit story I have when it comes to sneakers may be during the All-Star Galaxy Pack. It may be some additional ones after that. I can't remember. Like, when you be in this stuff so long, you can't remember nothing anymore. At this point, it's just like the only goal is to have the sneaker, and then 90% of the people I know, the goal is to buy it, and you really have no idea what you're gonna do with it. If my mindset was like, you gotta wear them, I wouldn't have so many to take back to Nike. Like, I took back over about $700, $800 worth of pairs. Yeah. Like, and what's the best part about it? Unworn.
Oh shit.
But what's the best part about it is that if, like, I pay $200 for these and, like, they're still on Nike for like $68, I get $200. I don't get like what they go for now. Like, people don't understand that. It's like, oh shoot, my hotel out here in Vegas is a hitter. So it's like, let me go ahead and take back 4 pairs. That's all it is. And I'm talking, I took back some type of 2 Air Force Ones, some weird Dunk, some runners, and some tennis, like actual tennis.
Oh shit. Yeah.
And it was like, hotel paid for. And I'm like, but
and you know what's that's funny is because it's just like, every shoe that you return is like it just makes you question, did I, like I'm saying, this Khaled 5 that I have, I hit it I got a retail, the whole world got those, you know what I mean? I didn't expect the whole world to get them, so I was up. There ain't nothing worse than 7 a.m., bro, on Sneakers app, bro.
Oh,
100%. So, but I got up at 7 a.m. I got these Khaled's. The pictures look dope.
Right.
I already had the UA version.
Right.
And like I said, if I really, really like it, and I'm gonna get the UA first, and I'll probably still go for the retail version. Because I like to do comparisons for my own personal.
Right.
I don't like posting comparisons because to me that's helping scammers in a way. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily, I take different angles, and some people like doing it because they think it helps save people. I'm like, let them fucking burn.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
See, I always looked at those as like low key promoting buying.
That's exactly what it is, and that's why I don't do it.
Okay.
I'm just curious. Every now and then I'll get 2 versions just to see how the factories are up, so I can confidently tell people these motherfuckers got their shit on point. You know what I mean?
Because I know cats that look at the comparisons and go like, man, I really wanted this. I really wanted it. I really wanted it. I really want it. Let me go look at a comparison and see if there's anything flagrant to where I'd get noticed. And they go and buy. I know people who buy UAs.
Yeah.
They're internet strangers, but like I know them through the podcast. We talk all the time.
Yeah.
I'll never say who they are. I'm not gonna out them like that. But they buy them but just the special ones. You know, Travis Scott's, they not, hey, you didn't get them?
Yeah.
Trophy room, I'm going to buy it. Or this, they'll go and buy it. They do that, and they have no problems, no nothing like that. And I don't view them any differently, to be honest with you.
And they're just like, why you always buy the hype shoes? Why you always do that? But when I buy if I get a Flint 13, it's like, really? You got a Flint 13? Well, which one is it, bro? Like, which one is it? Or do you just want to be mad about this, which makes no sense.
Yeah, no, it takes away from people feeling special. That's what it is, and
that's the thing is like if shoe sneakers are what make you feel special, then you need to reevaluate yourself.
We have mental health. I'm not gonna lie to you. We have mental health problems.
I feel great having whatever shoe I'm wearing because I picked it. I had the money, no matter how much money it was, I have money to buy something I don't fucking need. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing, you know, and I've talked about this a couple times on the podcast, not, you know, sort of in jest, but like sneakers almost cost me my wife. Like lying.
Addicted.
Lying about spending money on sneakers. Like it did. And, you know, I haven't gotten in depth in it. You know, it was just a little block of time, but like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, that's a real thing. And then, like, if, you know, and I was like, oh, shoot, I'm out of control. You know what I mean? But, you know, luckily I have the mindset of, okay, well, hey, we had a real heavy discussion, you know, type thing, you know, and I don't want to say it's embarrassing to admit that, but it's a reality.
No, bro,
like,
it's your, that's another thing. It's like, nobody should ever be embarrassed about their own story.
Oh, yeah.
You grow from things.
What makes it embarrassing is like it's sneakers because it's stupid.
At least it ain't fucking crack, you know. Like,
yeah, it's like, you know. But in my mind, I feel like if I ever got to the point to where I almost lose my wife, man, it better be crack. It better be cheap. It better be cheap. Like I always tell people, if I'm gonna go to jail, I'm gonna go to prison. I'm really gonna go to prison. Yeah, I ain't going to prison for like, you know, I ain't paying my taxes. I ain't doing something. Nah, I really did some. You opened the trunk, you saw it. Like that's what I'm going for. I ain't going for like, oopsie, like I just
little tiddlywink shit.
I'm going. All right, they gonna know me in there, you know.
But sneakers, man. I mean, if it gets that bad,
you gotta have a conversation with yourself. But man, I appreciate you, man, pulling up. I know it's early for you. You know to say. I
got a lot to do with the kiddos today.
I know, man, and I got a bunch of stuff. I see text messages coming in from homies. They just landed and stuff. But man, I appreciate you coming through, man. Anytime we have this conversation again, anytime I'm out here, we're gonna recap. Hell all the time,
because I could talk for days.
What people don't understand, it's really hard to find people who can talk, and I appreciate you talking. I've had people come on the podcast and just stare at me, and I'm like, okay,
and freeze up.
Yep. So, if you got anything else, nothing else, man.
Nah, man. I mean, fuck. Hopefully, I mean, I could come down to AZ and
hey, man, you ever in AZ?
We'll figure it out. I mean, I rarely get to leave.
Hey, I understand. Like I said, I ain't been to Vegas in about, I think, 10 years.
Oh, shit.
So cats are like, it's a little different. I'm like, what is this?
You want to talk about price hikes and motherfucker, bro.
I'm staying at the Cosmopolitan. I never stayed there. And I'm in there like, boy, like look
nice ass hotel though.
Yeah, now me and my wife, we stay at a lot of nice places, but like I ain't been to Vegas in a minute, but I'm like, this isn't Treasure Island. Like I'm like, is that a laser?
Treasure Island is a boot scoot now.
Yeah, but I appreciate you, man.
All right, man.
That's a sneak diss.
Good shit.